What if the reason you're always exhausted isn't because you're doing too much, but because you're thinking too small? Have you ever felt like life is just one emergency after another? Like you're a firefighter, rushing from blaze to blaze, but never really moving forward? Let me ask you something. Are you living intentionally? Or are you just reacting to whatever the day throws your way? Most of us know that feeling. You wake up, and before your feet even hit the floor, there it is. Messages. Notifications. Problems. One thing after another pulling you in. And just like that, you're already in go mode. Responding on autopilot. No pause. No breath. Just reacting. And the worst part? It feels like progress. But deep down, you know it's not. This is the trap of task-based thinking. It convinces you that being busy means you're getting somewhere. But the truth? You're just spinning. Putting out fires, instead of preventing them. Chasing symptoms, instead of fixing the cause. That's where strategic thinking comes in. Unlike reaction mode, strategic thinking makes you zoom out. Step back. Look at the bigger picture. Not, what's urgent right now? But, where am I really going, and why? And here's something you may not know. Strategic thinking isn't just for CEOs or philosophers. It's a skill. Just like focus. Just like strength. And like any skill, it can be trained. Whether your goal is better health, a meaningful career, deeper relationships, or a life with purpose. It all starts with a shift in mindset. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 13 strategic ecosystems. Think of them like a blueprint. Not to survive life, but to design it. Every chapter builds on the last. So stay with me, because by the end, you won't just think differently. You'll live differently. Let's begin. Right where every strategy must begin. With yourself. Part 1, Personal Strategy. Before you go anywhere, you have to know where you're starting from. No GPS works without a starting point. No journey makes sense without a map. That's why every life strategy must begin. Not with the world outside, but with the world within. So let me ask you. When was the last time you really paused and faced your own truth? Not just what you show others. Not your resume, your titles, or your goals. But the real, raw reflection of who you are. Your strengths, your struggles, your patterns. This is where it starts. The Stoics knew this deeply. Epictetus once said, "The essence of philosophy is that a man should live in such a way that his happiness depends as little as possible on external things." That's not just a quote. It's a challenge. To stop blaming. To start reflecting. To stop reacting to life. And begin taking ownership of it. So here's your first real step. Do a personal SWOT analysis. Grab a piece of paper. Draw 4 columns. Strengths. Weaknesses. Opportunities. Threats. But don't do this to judge yourself. Do it to see clearly. Because once you see your patterns, you can change them. Look back at your last 10 years. Split them into 3 lists. Wins. Losses. Lessons. Then circle what keeps showing up. Do you tend to procrastinate when things get hard? Or are you the one who always shows up, quietly, consistently, when no one's watching? Those are your patterns. And patterns drive your life. You can't break a cycle if you don't first see the chain. So don't just think, right? Because clarity comes through reflection. And without clarity, strategy has no roots. This first ecosystem is all about knowing your position. Because once you understand your inner mechanics, You'll finally be ready to build a strategy that actually works, long term. So, are you ready to face your own starting point? Take that pause. Own your truth. And when you're ready, we move forward to the next step. Your personal compass. The system that helps you choose your direction, before you take your next step. Part 2, Your Personal Compass. So now that you've faced your starting point, it's time to ask the next big question. Where are you going? Because if you don't know your direction, even the best strategy will take you nowhere. Think about it. A soldier sees the enemy right in front of them. A general sees the entire battlefield. But a real strategist? They see the destination. And they work backwards from it. That's the heart of this second ecosystem. Strategic vision. It's not about what you have today. It's about what you want to create tomorrow. And aligning your actions with that vision. Starting now. This idea is powerful. In business, it's called backcasting. Starting with the end result. And reverse engineering every step that gets you there. Take Amazon, for example. When they launched Amazon Prime, they didn't have warehouses. No shipping network. No real infrastructure. But they had one thing. A crystal clear outcome. We want our customers to get their packages within 2 days. Every decision, from that point forward, had to answer one question. Does this help us achieve that goal? If yes, move forward. If not, drop it. That kind of clarity. It's rare. But it's powerful. And here's the thing. You don't need to run a company to use it. You just need to apply it to your life. Here's a simple exercise to get started. Open your inbox. Create a new email. Address it to your future self. Set the date, May 1st, 2030. Now pause. Close your eyes. Picture yourself, 5 years from now. Where are you? Have you written that book you always dreamed about? Are you sleeping deeply each night, without stress or guilt? Have you achieved financial freedom, no more debt, no more chaos? Now, don't just dream it. Write it. List 3 specific accomplishments you've already achieved by that date. Be bold. Be honest. This is your blueprint. Once you've written them down, ask yourself. What needs to happen in the next 12 months to make that future real? What should be moving 6 months from now? What's the first small step you can take, today? You don't need to see the full staircase. You just need to see the landing. Because when the destination is clear, the path becomes easier to walk. Clarity cuts through noise. It silences distractions. And that leads us to one powerful truth. If vision is the destination, then environment is the path. Where you are, who you're with, what's around you. All of it is either helping you move forward, or pulling you off track. And sometimes, changing just one small thing in your surroundings can shift the whole direction of your life. In the next chapter, we'll talk about that environment. And how to design it with intention. But for now, remember this. The clearer your vision, the fewer distractions you'll entertain. So start with the end in mind. And build backward from there. Part 3, Strategic Environment Design. So, you've got your direction. You've seen your future. Now let's talk about the space around you. Because here's a truth most people overlook. Your environment is not neutral. It's always doing one of 2 things. Helping you move forward. Or silently pulling you back. We often think we just need more willpower. More motivation. More discipline. But the real game changer? It's not how strong you are. It's how smart your environment is. Let me tell you a story. Author James Clear, maybe you've heard of him. He wrote Atomic Habits. He once wanted to read more. But instead of setting a reminder or forcing the habit, he simply hid the TV remote and placed the book directly on his pillow. That's it. No alarm. No internal battle. Just one small shift in his surroundings. And guess what? He started reading more, naturally. Why? Because behavior doesn't come from motivation alone. It flows from structure. When the right choice becomes easy, and the wrong one becomes inconvenient, you stop fighting yourself. That's the power of environment design. So here's the takeaway. Don't try to control every urge. Control the triggers. Want to stop doom scrolling at night? Move the social media apps off your home screen. Want to work out more? Place your shoes and gym clothes by the door, where they're the first thing you see in the morning. Want to write every day? Set your laptop to open directly into your writing app. These are tiny shifts, but they reshape your choices, day after day. Because your environment is the silent architect of your habits. You don't notice it, but it's shaping you. Always. Even the Stoics knew this long ago. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." But mastering yourself doesn't mean fighting temptation all the time. It means removing temptation before the fight begins. Real freedom. It's not forcing good behavior. It's making good behavior effortless. So here's your challenge today. Pick one trap in your environment. Something that always derails your momentum. And pick one cue you want to reinforce. Then, redesign your space. Make the trap harder to access. Make the cue easier to see. Do it tonight. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Because this isn't about willpower. It's about smart design. And when you shift your environment, you shift your identity. Up next, we'll talk about momentum. Not just motivation that lasts a day, but systems that help you build and sustain progress for a lifetime. Let's keep going. The next gear is about to unlock. Part 4, Build Momentum with Systems. Now that your environment is set up to support you, the next question is, how do you keep going? Not just today. Not just this week. But for the long haul. Here's the truth most people don't like to admit. Motivation fades. Even the best intentions wear off. But systems? Systems stick. If you want to build a life that lasts, you don't need more willpower. You need better systems. Think of it like this. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. It doesn't matter how inspired you are in the morning, if your habits collapse by night. So ask yourself, what are the systems quietly running your life? Without you even realizing it. Your morning routine. Your workspace layout. The way you check your phone. How you plan your week. These little flows, repeated every day, become your real operating system. So here's the shift. Don't build habits one by one. Build systems that make the right habits almost inevitable. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you want to focus better at work. Instead of forcing yourself to concentrate, you could build a focus system. White heavy checkmark, turn off notifications. White heavy checkmark, set a 90-minute deep work timer. White heavy checkmark, use noise-canceling headphones. White heavy checkmark, write down your number one priority before you start. That's not discipline. That's design. And once it's in place, you don't have to think about it every day. It runs automatically. Think of systems like a flywheel. At first, it takes effort to get moving. But once it turns, momentum kicks in. The effort decreases. The result compounds. Here's your challenge. Pick one area of your life where you constantly struggle to stay consistent. Maybe it's working out. Maybe it's saving money. Maybe it's managing your time. Now ask. What system could I build around this? So I don't have to rely on motivation anymore. It could be a checklist. A weekly review. An accountability partner. A simple automation. Small things. But repeated daily. They create massive results over time. You don't need to work harder. You need to systematize smarter. Because momentum isn't magic. It's mechanical. And when you finally stop relying on mood and start relying on systems, that's when progress gets real. Up next, we move into a game-changing mindset. Resource optimization. How do you take what little you have and turn it into something exponential? That's where we're going next. Part 5, Resource Optimization. Most people look at resources the wrong way. They ask, how much money do I have? How many hours are left in the day? But strategic thinkers, they see things differently. They don't view resources as coins to be spent. They see them as seeds to be planted. Let me explain. A seed in your hand doesn't feed you. It doesn't bloom overnight. But if you plant it, nurture it, give it time and attention, it grows into something much bigger. Your time is a seed. Your skills, your network, your ideas. All seeds. If you treat them like scraps to use up, they disappear. But if you treat them like seeds, they multiply. This is the mindset shift. Strategic people don't say, I don't have enough. They ask, what do I already have? And how can I use it better? Take Airbnb, for example. Back in 2008, they were broke. No funding. No traction. Most people would have quit. But instead of complaining, they got creative. They had one thing. Basic design skills. And a clever idea. They made cereal boxes. Obama O's and Captain McCain's. And sold them as limited edition election memorabilia. Funny? Yes. But also genius. They made $30,000. That cash saved the company. And more importantly, it caught the attention of a key investor. That wasn't luck. It was resource optimization. Here's the lesson. It's not about what you lack. It's about what you've ignored. Each of us has silent resources. Old hobbies. Past experience. Dormant skills. Connections you haven't called in years. Tools gathering dust in your drawer. So instead of asking, what am I missing? Ask, what do I already have? And what can I plant in the next 90 days? Maybe you've got a half-finished blog. A camera from that YouTube phase. An Excel skill from an old job. Or friends who know things you don't. These aren't leftovers. They're leverage. Here's your challenge. Today, make a personal resource map. Draw 3 columns. Time. Skills. Tools. Then scan your life. Be honest. Be curious. What have you overlooked? Because when you start optimizing what's already in your hands, you stop waiting. And you start creating. You don't need more. You just need to use what you have. With intention. And speaking of intention, in the next chapter, we're going to talk about a different kind of resource. Not time. Not money. But something even more powerful. Energy. Because even the best plans fall apart if your energy is scattered or drained. Let's dive into that next. Part 6, Energy Strategy. Let's be real for a moment. You can have the best vision, the smartest system, the clearest goals. But if you're exhausted, if your mind is foggy, if your body's running on empty, none of it matters. Energy isn't a bonus. It's the fuel, the foundation, the difference between surviving and showing up with full presence. Because when energy drops, so does your ability to focus, to think clearly, to choose wisely. Suddenly, what's urgent feels more important than what actually matters. That's how momentum dies. Not with a crash, but with quiet fatigue. So let's shift the focus. Forget hustle. Forget grind mode. This isn't about doing more. It's about managing your energy strategically. Take Ariana Huffington, for example. In 2007, she collapsed from pure exhaustion. Hit her head on a desk. Woke up in a pool of blood. That moment changed everything. She didn't just recover. She redefined what it means to succeed. From that moment came Thrive Global and the Sleep Revolution. Movements that changed how modern leaders think about rest, energy, and sustainable performance. She realized what many of us ignore. You don't win by burning bright for 3 months. You win by learning to recharge daily. So here's a better question to ask yourself every evening. Not, what did I achieve? But, did I protect my energy today? Here's a simple checklist. Use it like a battery test. White heavy checkmark, did I get at least 7 hours of sleep? White heavy checkmark, did I take 3 moments to pause, breathe, and reset? White heavy checkmark, is my stress level steady, or spiking all day? If any answer is blinking red, pause. Step back. Don't make major decisions in a depleted state. Because a tired mind should observe, not steer. Here's the thing. You are not a machine. You are not here to grind until you break. Neglecting your energy doesn't just hurt your body. It clouds your mind and dulls your sense of meaning. You want to play the long game? Protect your energy like it's sacred. And remember this. Energy isn't the goal. It's the vehicle. The thing that helps you carry out your role in the world. So instead of asking, how can I push harder? Ask, how can I recharge smarter? Because strategy without energy is just theory. Up next, we dive into something just as crucial. Time and focus strategy. Because even when your energy is full, if your attention is scattered, you still go nowhere fast. Let's talk about protecting your focus. Like it's the most valuable currency you own. Because in today's world, it just might be. Part 7, Time and Focus Strategy. Let's get one thing straight. Energy alone isn't enough. You could sleep well, eat clean, feel physically great. But if your focus is scattered, you're still standing in the middle of a storm, going nowhere. In today's world, distraction is the default. Notifications. Messages. That constant pressure to respond, scroll, and stay plugged in. Here's the danger. You feel busy, but you're not actually productive. You're moving constantly, but you're not in control of your direction. That's why we don't just need time management anymore. We need focus protection. One of the best examples. Bill Gates. For decades, he's had a ritual called Think Week. Twice a year, he disappears, completely. No emails. No meetings. No social media. Just a cabin, complete silence. And a mountain of reports from Microsoft's top minds. And from those quiet days came billion-dollar breakthroughs. Like Internet Explorer. And Microsoft's first push into cloud computing. What does this teach us? Focus isn't something you stumble into. It's something you intentionally protect. And in a noisy world, clarity is something you have to fight for. So here's what you can do, starting now. Begin your mornings with 3 hours of deep, focused work. No phone. No meetings. No multitasking. Just you, and what matters most. And when the day ends, don't just drift. Close the loop. Write down the top 3 priorities for tomorrow. Then shut everything down, mentally and digitally. Why? Because your brain doesn't just need stimulation. It needs space to recover, process, and refocus. This is where most people fall short. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about having the courage to choose what truly matters. And ignore the rest. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. True strength isn't measured by how many hours you grind. It's defined by what you give your attention to. And what you have the discipline to ignore. Because every time you check your phone, open another tab, or try to juggle 10 things at once, you're making a trade. You're either investing in your future, or burning your energy on what won't matter tomorrow. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow, set aside 1 sacred hour. No interruptions. No distractions. Just you, your goal, and the work that truly moves you forward. Because in a world full of noise, focus is your superpower. And once you master it, you stop reacting. And you start building. Up next, we step into a realm many people think is pure talent. But in truth, it's a system. Creativity and innovation strategy. Because creative breakthroughs don't come from luck. They come from smart design. And I'll show you how. Part 8, Creativity and Innovation Strategy. There's a myth we need to break right now. That creativity is a gift. That it's random. That some people are just born with it. But here's the truth. Creativity is not magic. It's not accidental. It's architectural. Every breakthrough you've ever admired, from art to technology to business, wasn't just a flash of inspiration. It was the result of structure, intention, and process. Strategic creativity isn't about waiting for ideas to fall from the sky. It's about designing systems that consistently produce insight. Let's look closer. Most people think creativity means thinking differently. But true innovation, it's about connecting the seemingly unrelated. Great ideas don't come from isolation. They come from cross-pollination. The fusion of disciplines, experiences, and perspectives. That's why strategic thinkers expose themselves to a wide range of inputs. They don't just consume more. They connect better. And here's where it gets powerful. When you start treating creativity like a system, you stop relying on motivation. And start building momentum. Here's a simple method you can use. Start by designing creative loops. These are short, structured cycles of experimentation and reflection. Pick one idea. Build a small prototype, fast. Don't aim for perfection. Just enough to test the concept. Then pause. Reflect. Ask. What worked? What failed? And, what patterns keep showing up? Because the real breakthrough isn't always in the result. It often lives in the feedback patterns underneath. Keep a learning log. Track insights after every experiment. And let those patterns guide your next version. This is how creators become innovators. One more thing, set a limit. Give yourself no more than 10 days per prototype. This constraint forces clarity. It prevents overthinking. And it keeps your ideas moving forward, instead of getting stuck in your head. Remember this. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way, becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. In the world of creativity, your obstacles aren't dead ends. They're feedback. They're direction. They're raw material for the next version. So here's your challenge. If you're working on a project, idea, or bold experiment, design the next creative loop. No waiting. No perfect conditions. Just build, reflect, and iterate. Because when you stop waiting for inspiration and start creating structure, you stop guessing and you start inventing. Up next, we'll explore something that shapes every part of your life, whether you realize it or not. Decision-making strategy. Because your future isn't shaped by big dramatic events. It's built, quietly, through small, repeated choices. And how you make those choices. That's the system we'll build next. Part 9, Decision-making strategy. Here's something most people never realize. Your life isn't shaped by a handful of big, dramatic events. It's built, silently, by small decisions. Repeated. Every single day. What you choose to read in the morning. How you respond to that frustrating email. Where your mind goes when you're tired or overwhelmed. These aren't random. They're the opening moves in a chain reaction. And each one pushes your life in a direction, forward or backward. This is the principle of decision stacking. No decision stands alone. Every choice you make tips the next domino. It sets the tone for your time, your mindset, your outcomes. So here's the shift. Stop making decisions just to get them done. Start thinking like a strategic architect. Ask not, is this right or wrong? Ask instead, where does this lead? Because the real cost of a poor decision isn't the moment itself. It's the momentum it steals. Let me give you a powerful example. Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater, didn't rely on gut instinct. He built a system. He created clear, testable principles for how he thinks and decides. And then he turned those principles into algorithms. Not to replace judgment, but to protect it from bias, emotion, and blind spots. That's not overthinking. That's design. Because strategic thinkers don't wait for chaos to hit. They build mental operating systems that help them stay grounded, especially when pressure is high. Here's a simple tool you can use today. Whenever a decision costs you more than 1 hour of time, or more than $100 in resources, pause and walk it through this 5-question checklist. 1. What are the long-term risks? 2. What's the best possible upside? 3. Does this align with the life vision I'm building? 4. What data or past experience supports this? 5. What is my deeper intuition telling me? These questions aren't about slowing you down. They're about increasing the quality of your thinking, which increases the quality of your outcomes. Because every decision you improve today echoes into the future you're building. Here's your challenge. Pick one decision you've been avoiding. Something you've put off, hesitated on, or felt unsure about. Now run it through the 5-question filter. And make a strategic call. Not out of fear, but from clarity. Because you can't control every outcome. But you can control how you decide. And that alone can change everything. Coming up next. You've now seen how decisions shape your daily path. But there's one final layer that connects everything we've explored so far. Integration. Because strategy doesn't work in isolation. It works when all the gears, vision, systems, energy, creativity, and decision-making move together. Let's bring it all home in the final chapter. Part 10, Strategic Integration, Bringing it all together. So here we are. You've just walked through 13 strategic ecosystems. Not just random ideas, but a complete system. designed to help you build the life you actually want. We started with awareness. Who are you, really? Where are you going? And what's driving your daily choices? Then we zoomed out. We mapped vision. We redesigned your environment. We created systems. We optimized resources. We protected energy. We focused your attention. We unleashed creativity. We upgraded your decision-making. And now, we arrive at the most important insight of all. These aren't separate tools. They are gears in one system. And when they turn together, your entire life begins to move in harmony. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Because the truth is, you're already building a life. Every single day. The only question is, are you building it on purpose? Strategic thinking doesn't mean choosing the perfect path every time. It means choosing based on a clear, repeatable logic. A logic you trust, refine, and strengthen with every step forward. And now, you have that system. It's yours. You're not just reacting anymore. You're designing. Not just surviving your days, but shaping your direction. Not just chasing goals, but building foundations that last. Because when all 13 gears turn in sync, you don't just feel progress. You become the architect of it. So let me ask you this. Backhand index pointing right, which chapter felt like your weakest link? Backhand index pointing right, which one revealed the blind spot you've been avoiding? Are you ready to strengthen it? Day by day, brick by brick, over the next 7 days. Drop a comment below and let me know. Where are you in this journey? What's the one decision you'll make today, that your future self will thank you for? Let's build together. Let's learn from one another. And if this video sparks something in you, if it gave you clarity, insight, or even one aha moment, do 3 things. White heavy checkmark, hit the like button. White heavy checkmark, subscribe for more videos like this. White heavy checkmark, ring the bell, so you don't miss the next strategic blueprint. And don't click away just yet. Your next video is waiting for you. It's the continuation of this journey. The next step in designing your life with intention. Trust me. The game is just beginning. You're not just a player anymore. You're the architect. Now, it's your turn.